When Kevin called Lily, she told him that their relationship was over and that she'd moved on. She was in a room at the Salix Leaf Hotel with Nolan Hill and his friend Dr. Spaulding. Then Nolan shocked her by offering Lily to his friend in exchange for a powerful herbal pill. She refused and got up to leave. But a second later, Dr. Spaulding grabbed her from behind. "Let me go," Lily said as she struggled to turn around. Then she gave Dr. Spaulding a slap on the cheek. Surprisingly, this didn't make the man angry. In fact, he started to smile lasciviously. "I didn't expect you to have so much fire. It just so happens that I like women with passion. I find it exciting." "Let me go right now," Lily shouted as she shoved him away. Just then, the door burst open with a powerful kick. "Who the hell are you? How dare you interrupt us? Get out of here!" Nolan growled as he got up from his chair. Lily's face lit up when she saw who had charged into the room. She ran toward the door and yelled, "Kevin, please save me." "So you're the famous Kevin I've heard so much about." Nolan sneered as he slowly walked to the door. "Was Dalton Steele a friend of yours? I'm pleased to tell you that he's done for. He'll never cause anyone any problems for the rest of his miserable life." Dr. Spaulding was distracted by Kevin's explosive entrance and forgot about his sinister plans for Lily. Then Lily quickly ran behind Kevin and said weakly, "Kevin, let's get out of here. You can't risk getting them angry." "And you're Nolan?" Kevin growled. "Now that you know who I am, why don't you get the hell out of here?" Nolan shouted as he looked at Kevin with disdain. "Not only will I not get the hell out of here, but I also have news for you. You'll never get out of Chicago safe and sound," Kevin said coldly. "Kevin, what are you talking about? This isn't a game. These guys are serious," Lily warned him. Lily thought that they still had a chance to escape, even though it was very unlikely. But if Kevin angered Nolan, they would definitely not be able to leave. She knew that Kevin was very good at fighting, but even Dalton had been badly beaten by Nolan and his men. She had no idea how Kevin would be able to stop all of them by himself. "You think you can stop me?" Nolan sneered. Then he snapped his fingers and a dozen bodyguards entered the suite from the adjoining room. The blood rushed from Lily's face when she saw them come in. These were the same men who had beaten Dalton within an inch of his life. "Is that all you've got?" Kevin said boldly. "That's all I need for a weakling like you. I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. You know what they say, might makes right. Well, today I'm right," Nolan said proudly. "That's what you think," Kevin said calmly. "That's right. That's what I think. If you're strong enough, you can try and stand up to me, but you're in for a big surprise," Nolan replied while staring daggers at Kevin. "Okay," Kevin said as he turned his head and shouted at his people in the hall. "Everyone, come in here." As soon as Kevin finished speaking, a dark wave of people rushed into the room. They were all members of the Myriads. "Capture all of them. Take them all and throw them into the lake," Kevin ordered brutally. Spencer and Derek, his senior aides in the Myriads, were the first to rush into the room. They were swinging wildly as they ran in and knocked 4 of Nolan's bodyguards to the ground at once. "Where are these men from?" Dr. Spaulding said in shock. In less than a minute, Nolan was lying on the floor, pressing his hand on the wound on his shoulder. It was so deep that his bones were showing through the skin. Half of his body was stained red with blood. His bodyguards had been beaten until they were half dead. The Myriads were busy picking them up and carrying them out of the hotel. Dr. Spaulding, on the other hand, was lying in a corner barely breathing. "Don't let this get out of hand. You've gotten the wrong idea. Lily and I are just good friends," Nolan stammered as he struggled to keep from passing out. "My brother is still lying in the hospital and hasn't come out of his coma yet. And you have the nerve to tell me not to let this get out of hand?" Kevin roared as he put his foot on Nolan's chest, almost breaking his sternum. "You said that might makes right. Well, it looks like I'm stronger than you and I have more men. Does that make you a weakling?" Kevin asked mockingly. "Yes," Nolan gritted his teeth and reluctantly answered. "You need to call the head of your family right now and ask them to apologize to Norman Steele personally," Kevin said sternly. Yes, I'll do it. Nolan was in no position to argue. He was so badly beaten that he was afraid Kevin would kill him and have him thrown in the lake if he didn't do what he said. A couple of minutes later, Nolan called his grandfather and told him everything. "My grandfather wants to talk to you," Nolan said as he handed his phone to Kevin. His eyes were filled with resentment. For one thing, he'd never been stepped on by anyone before. Once he got back to Detroit, he swore to find a way to kill Kevin. When Kevin took the phone before he could say anything, he heard a deep voice telling him, "Don't push this too far. You need to stop before this gets out of hand." Nolan's grandfather, Dale Hill, said carefully, "My grandson has already been punished. It's time for you to put a stop to this." "It's not that easy. Your grandson broke every bone in my brother's body. He may never walk again because of his injuries. Then your grandson had his friend attack my wife. And now you're telling me to stop?" Kevin said in disbelief. "Then what do you want from me?" Dale said as he took a deep breath. "You're going to call my friend's grandfather, Norman Steele, right now to apologize. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that your grandson will be allowed to leave Chicago alive," Kevin explained in a very threatening voice. "You certainly are an arrogant young man," Nolan's grandfather replied. "Why don't you come to Detroit one of these days when you have the time? I promise we'll prepare a proper welcome for you," Dale Hill said. It was clear to Kevin that this was a threat. "All right, I'm looking forward to it, if you're up to the challenge," Kevin retorted before he hung up the phone. "Can you please let me up now?" Nolan begged Kevin as his voice grew fainter and fainter. If he didn't get to the hospital soon, he would definitely lose too much blood. "I didn't say that I'd let you go so easily," Kevin said as he threw the phone against the wall and smashed it into pieces. "My grandfather told you that this has to end. If you don't stop now, he'll never let you get away with it," Nolan pleaded. "I'm not too worried about that," Kevin sneered as he pulled out the night dagger. "If I let you get away with what you did to Dalton, how can I ever look at myself in the mirror again?" Kevin growled as he sliced at Nolan's ankle with the blade of the knife that the Night King had given him. Then, as Nolan screamed in agony, Kevin cut his Achilles tendons. Even the members of the myriads who were watching this were scared out of their minds. They couldn't help but think that, although Kevin looked polite and peaceful on the outside, he could be quite vicious. Finally, Kevin turned to the men and said, "Take him outside and throw him into the lake." "Yes, sir," the men responded. They were looking at Kevin differently now. There was no need for Kevin to clean the blood off his dagger. It had been forged in a way that kept anything from adhering to it. After he left the room, Kevin headed to the Salix Leaf Hotel's underground garage. By now, Lily was already waiting for him there. He didn't even greet her as he walked to his car to drive away. "Kevin, listen to me. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me," Lily begged as she suddenly grabbed his arm. "What's the use of knowing you were wrong? Will that help Dalton heal from his injuries?" Kevin said as he pushed Lily away forcefully. "Kevin, please don't go. I admit I was wrong, but I couldn't help it. I was banished from the Jones family and had no choice but to find work. The online show was all I could find. If Nolan hadn't given me all that money, I never would have met with him," Lily sobbed. "How much did he pay you?" "I'll bet it wasn't even a tenth of what I gave you," Kevin replied expressionlessly. "How could you give me any money? Didn't you get locked up because you'd beat someone up? Didn't you just get out of jail today?" Lily asked in disbelief. Kevin took a deep breath and asked her, "Is one of your online fans called Mighty Moose?" Lily was stunned when she heard that. Could her top admirer have been Kevin? When she thought about this, Lily's body quivered. She opened her mouth to speak but didn't know what to say. Just as Kevin was about to open the car door, Lily grabbed his arm again. "I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please don't leave me." Kevin sighed. "We've been married for all these years, but you have no idea what I've been secretly doing for you. I ordered Williams Media to give you Brittany's account, and it was me who told Tyler Dawn to give you the Jones family's majority shares. I even bought you the Dream Lover necklace you wanted so much, but what have you done for me? Since you said that we're finished, let's leave it that way." Dalton is still lying in the hospital. I have to go and see him, but you should be thinking about one thing. He was put there because of you," Kevin said sourly. After he said this, Kevin pulled his arm away from Lily and quickly got into his car. He left without looking back. As she watched Kevin drive away, Lily couldn't hold back her tears. She didn't even remember how she got home that evening. Lily was up all night thinking about what Kevin had said. When Dalton Steele tried to warn her about Nolan, she didn't believe him at all. Then when Dalton was beaten up, she just stood there and watched in silence. She didn't say a word to help him. Early the next morning, a piece of explosive news shook all of Chicago. A young member of the Hill family had been critically injured. His arms and legs had been broken and he had been attacked with a knife. He would never be able to walk again, and his bodyguards had been beaten and thrown into Lake Michigan. Kevin didn't pay any attention to the news. His focus over the next few days was to help Dalton recover. During the day, he stayed by Dalton's bedside. At night, Kevin went back to his condo to read through his books to see if there were any pills that could cure his friend. 3 days later, Dalton's skin was starting to heal. Although his life had been saved, the doctor was sure that he would never be able to walk again for the rest of his life. "Do you want some more soup?" Miranda asked her husband as she dipped the spoon into the bowl. "I'm full," Dalton smiled and said. "Honey, do you think Kevin's the one who paralyzed Nolan?" "I'm sure of it," she said. "The police still don't know who did it, but the other night he told me that he would get revenge on your attacker. I watched him leave the hospital with my own eyes." "I never expected Kevin to be so ruthless. Who would have thought he had it in him to beat someone so savagely?" Dalton wondered out loud. Just as Miranda was about to reply, Kevin pushed open the door and walked into the room. "Kevin, did you just get out of a coal mine?" Dalton laughed when he saw his friend. Even Miranda, who was sitting next to the bed, couldn't keep from laughing. Kevin was filthy. Not only was his face covered with soot, but his clothes were torn and dirty. Even his hair was a complete mess. "Don't worry about me right now. Hurry up and swallow this pill," Kevin insisted. Dalton didn't say a thing. He just opened his mouth and swallowed the pill. "Damn you, Kevin. What the heck did you just give me? That's the most bitter thing I've ever tasted," Dalton complained. He thought he was going to throw up. "I know it's bitter, but it will definitely help your recovery. Besides, this pill has a very nice name. It's called the Restoration Pill, and I went to a lot of effort to make it for you," Kevin told them as he watched for any negative reaction. "What kind of a thing is a restoration pill?" Dalton asked in confusion. Miranda also looked interested. "I prepared this medicinal pill using some exotic herbs and also a few animal products. It was difficult because it was a little beyond my current level of training. I failed a dozen times last night before I finally succeeded," Kevin explained seriously. "You mean it's not a vegetarian recipe?" Dalton joked. He asked Miranda to pour him a glass of water as fast as she could. He hated things that tasted bitter. "You can't drink any water right now. You have to absorb the medicinal properties of the pill first," Kevin told them as he quickly stopped Miranda from handing him the glass. "Are you deliberately messing with me, brother?" Dalton groaned. "Kevin, you have no idea. I've never met anyone who hated bitter herbs as much as Dalton," Miranda told him. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was the first time she'd felt hopeful in days.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.